All right, so let's start getting into a little bit of the philosophy of the class. And I want you to think of it this way. If we think about the golden rule, often we hear it's treat others as you would like to be treated. And that is to distinguish from treat others in ways that advantage you, right? Don't treat others badly. So the lowest level of treating other people is to treat other people in unfair ways that advantage you. And so the golden rule is to treat others as you would like to be treated. I'm hoping that that golden rule is certainly better than the first level, because at least you're thinking about the way you would like to be treated and trying to treat people fairly. What I would like for you to come out of this class is another level of the golden rule, and I wish it was expressed more often, which is treat others as they would like to be treated. Not in a way that's unfair to you, not such that you're advantaging them in a way that disadvantages you, but in a way that recognizes that the ways that you want to be treated may not be the ways that other people want to be treated. I might be an introvert, you might be an extrovert. If an extrovert treats an introvert the way they want to be treated, that can be a disaster. Same with the other way around. And so we need to understand how to treat people who are different from ourselves after we learn how to treat people who are the same as ourselves. This is the same for educational understanding. The first level is not understanding enough about yourself or education that you wouldn't even be able to design something that could work for you. And that's how I expect everyone to be when you arrive. Some of you might have been introspective, some of you might have a good understanding of how you learned and how to design for it, but others may not, and that's fine. I don't expect you to have that understanding. So this first level of understanding is where I expect people to be right now. What I hope you learn in this course is how to articulate the requirements for and carry out a design for something effective for someone like you. And that requires introspection. And that's what the independent learning is for. So you're going to read about learning, and you're going to think about how that relates to how you learn, and you're going to express that in reflections. And so that can be done asynchronously. But that's not enough, because there are lots of people in the world, lots of people who have very different backgrounds from you and have different interests, have different levels of experience, lots of different things that bring them to the table in a different way from you. And so to get an A in this course, you have to be able to articulate the requirements for and carry out a design for something effective for a wide variety of people who are not like you. This requires listening, empathy, really being able to not see other people as others, but to see what it might be like to be those people, and to sort of bring that into the fold. So that's really what the synchronous time of this course is for listening, articulating so that other people can learn from you, but even more listening, because there are a lot more people in the course. Okay? So why is this sharing so important? Because we can learn from others' experiences, and others can learn from you. So what I really want to get out of that synchronous time is sharing yourselves, listening to each other. Because designing only for yourself is useless. And learning about what didn't work for others helps us design better. It's great to learn what did work for others, but it's also great to learn what didn't work for others. And so I'm hoping that people will be willing to share educational experiences that didn't work for them. Because it doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you. Learning experiences are hard to design. And whoever designed that learning experience might have designed it for themselves and not for someone like you. So in this course, we want to figure out collectively what works for a lot of people and what doesn't. Recognizing, of course, that to have gotten to this point at University of Chicago, in general, your learning experiences must have worked. They won't have worked perfectly, and so we're going to have to try extra hard to think about what it's like for other people for whom learning experiences were not as successful to the point where they weren't able to come to University of Chicago or a college like this. So what is required for sharing? Sharing can be difficult. It's sharing a piece of yourself with strangers. And so because the entire purpose of sharing is to learn from others not like you, you have to remember that what is normal to you is not normal to others. And struggles and challenges are all a normal part of the learning process. And so we need to create a safe space where people feel comfortable opening up themselves to share their potentially negative experiences. And so we want to make sure that if someone expresses something, we do positive responses to that sharing and positive statements about others inside and outside the classroom so that we respect each other's experiences. Okay, so let's talk about the learning application. So you're going to design and you're going to think about your own learning, but then you're going to identify some users that are not like you. They need to be not like you culturally. They need to be not part of dominant culture. They need to have different skills, technical skills from what you have. And we're going to be designing it as a game, not just a straight learning experience. And so we will have in-class activities. We'll have an initial design workshop where we go through and review each other's designs and give feedback. And we'll also have a final design flash talk video that you'll make a 4-minute video about your design. And then at the end of your implementation, you'll make a design demonstrating the use of your application. And then we'll also have a bit of a live demo as well. We'll video that live demo. And then a paper describing the relationship between your design and the concepts learned in the class. Remember, that's the design. There's a very big difference between what you implement and what you design. And so you'll have a full paper at the end of the course with your full design, and not just your design, but how it connects to the concepts learned in the readings in the course. All right, so you will be partnering, and so we want to be good partners, so make sure that you arrive on time to meetings with your partner and prepared with any design thoughts or any materials that you need to learn. And when you're participating in joint design sessions, fully listen to others' ideas. Don't think of it as a competition about whose ideas are best. When you hear an idea that you don't like, instead of saying, oh, I don't like that idea, think about ask the person, what is it about that idea that they like? And so go into a process of identifying the positive attributes of the idea and maybe the negative attributes of the idea, and find an alternative idea that retains the positive parts of the idea, but maybe in a different way. And so that's a way to be compromising in a positive way, because typically there aren't totally bad ideas or totally good ideas. There are aspects of it that are good and aspects that need help. And so you can then have an iterative process of refining those ideas. And always remember that you're targeting many users, and this design has no resource constraints, so there's lots of room for lots of ideas. There are some for which you have to make decisions, but there are lots of things to brainstorm ideas about, so even if one person's ideas don't make it into one aspect, then make sure that you preference their ideas for other aspects. All right, you'll also hopefully have joint working sessions, technical working sessions, because that allows discussion as challenges are encountered, and it results in more learning for both partners. That's what the research shows. Now, not every individual, but on average, more learning. And so when you're in those sessions, make sure you're patient, helpful, and supportive, because it's unusual to have two students who are exactly the same technical level when they're collaborating. And so one person may be familiar with some technical aspects, another person another, or one person may have more experience overall. So just make sure that you're being patient, helpful, and supportive if there are moments where one person has more technical knowledge than the other. On the other hand, there will be presumably some independent work that you're doing independently. Make sure that you complete that on time with your agreed upon deadlines that you have as a group. And when you encounter a roadblock, don't just quit. Make sure that you do your due diligence. Look at the textbook, see if you can figure it out, if it's a C# technical issue, or if it's a larger issue, look online for tutorials and information. Really nail down the problem as much as you can, even if you don't have a solution. So make sure that you're at least doing as much as you can independently before you get back together. All right, so for grading, there are 4 categories of grading. The reading, questions, and participation. Participation being coming to class, and the group work that you do actually produces outcomes, and so those outcomes. And you can miss 3 without penalty. I realize that there are going to be connection issues sometimes, and if you're finding it a lot, email me. I'm going to try to find ways in the grading to not penalize people who are having technical difficulties. So if I have to change this later on in the course, then maybe I will. But starting out, you can definitely miss 3 without penalty. There will be a midterm that is a combination of C# design and education. That will be a synchronous online midterm. And then there are going to be labs, weekly labs that are building up your C# and Unity skills. And then there will be, of course, the final project.